Okay, try this again. I'm back and I only really have about 15 to 20 minutes now at most. Like I said, I didn't want to do a big stream now anyway. I'm really tired. Well, like I said in the previous stream, which I've now deleted, so it's not very useful. But yeah, I just thought I'd do a very quick one just to update on yesterday. So obviously we went through this weekly level that I was looking at. That was what I wanted to hold. There were two options, if you remember from the yesterday's stream, if you watched. We had a weekly demand, and generally we get two likely things happen at this point. One, you can just bounce on it, bounce off the top, and then just take out the top for a swing failure because it's a weak demand. Alternatively, the other thing I've seen happen quite commonly is we go through it, we swing fail the low, and then have the up move. And on this trade as well, this is also an inside bar trade, so that's your inside bar. That was in the range of that candle, fell within the range of that candle. If we go up and we take out the high of that inside bar, then the chances are we're going to take out the low. If it closes, if it takes out the high and closes back inside, then the chances are we're going to take out the low. So that's actually what ended up playing out. We've fallen now down into the daily demand, which was already tested, but is really what's holding this whole consolidation up. So we're still in a fairly good spot, even though we didn't get the bounce where we wanted to get the bounce. And again, as I said yesterday, Korea was the driver, or the really obvious move. It had made a daily supply and it came straight off it, and you can see even after yesterday's bounce into here, just went straight back up into that supply on the lower time frame. 12-hour, hit the 12-hour and then dropped. Korea also hasn't taken out this low yet, so just be conscious of that, although it doesn't necessarily, Korea's less likely to stop hunt. CME also the same, we've closed the gap, and take that off now, which was the one thing I was looking for, and then come down below this weekly demand. So we're looking for a close back up inside here for a swing failure on the weekly, but obviously we have a good few days for that to play out. And we've also got CPI tomorrow and FOMC on Thursday. I did see a tweet earlier just to comment on that, that FOMC, hopefully I put it on here, I did. So FOMC, this is Economic Calendar Events Indicator. Unfortunately, they updated a lot more previously with all the dates for all the different news, but now we've only got FOMC minutes and meeting updated from this year onwards. But it means you can see, so where the person commented that I saw on Twitter that we always have a dump, or the last four we've had a dump the day before FOMC or a couple of days before, and then it's pumped for FOMC. So the red being the FOMC meeting, dropped the day before, or 2 days before, up on FOMC. Similar here, dropped on the Tuesday, up on the Wednesday, FOMC. Here less dramatic, but dropped previously, up thereafter. I don't know if we're going to see that. We're probably not going to see that going all the way back. I'm sure it's been relatively cherry picked. You can see here there's a behind my picture on the thing, but yeah, there's a here we pumped before and then reversed. So I mean, maybe it's consistent that we tend to get a reversal, but we need to see what happens also with CPI tomorrow. And also I joked on the stream as well, like maybe it's the same as three hits on a trend line and the trend line breaks. You know, it's happened 3 or 4 times. Maybe this is going to be the time it doesn't do the same thing. But anyway, that's just to be conscious of, and obviously we expect that big move on CPI and FOMC anyway, or that's at least some local volatility if nothing else. Okay, so we've had a decent drop today, still in this overall range at the top here. This range obviously is falling at all-time high, so we're in a very high-risk area for going into longs anyway. Certainly if this closes as a weekly supply, if this candle closes below, I'll be looking to short the weekly supply almost 100%. If it closes back up inside, then I'll be looking for it to take out the highs. If it falls, staying within the local range, I've commented before, I've got this weekly demand down here. It's got trend line stops below it, so I don't love that. So potentially it could. So firstly, I've got the cross at the alert at the top of here, but the comment is, you know, there's a daily inside it, so we can certainly dip deeper into that zone, and also the fibs are lower. The 61 fib would be at the top of that red box we wanted to hold previously. But again, we've got this whole consolidation sitting on top of this demand. from previously, and again that's still what we want to hold if we do come back down here for a retest. Looking like at the end of the day today we're going to create a 2-day supply. I think the 3 days closing tomorrow. A 2-day supply in here, so potentially I will shift these shorts down a bit. I need to measure fibs, etc, etc. But yeah, again, like it's still holding this the daily demand on top of this consolidation, so we're not in a horrendous spot. But we just need to see if we're going to get the buy-in coming back in, which so far today we haven't. And what else? Okay, so US dollar dominance. This 5-day that I talked about yesterday again was only made by a hair, but did eventually play out, thankfully. But again, just straight back up into supply. So either we're going to go straight through here and the bears will be happy and the bulls will be very unhappy, or it's more likely it's going to have some consolidation here while it figures out what to do. Either we're going to come down into here and look for the next move up, or it's just going to reject here because we do have this weekly supply again, which coincides with the Bitcoin weekly demand. Still, yeah, so like I say, still like just fighting between supply and demand, and I can't say so again. Like while I want to say, oh look, reversal, like again just reiterate, this is a 6-month demand down here. This is why I'm looking for the bigger reversal here. Still early days. We still need to see, you know, like this uptrend. So we're starting to get this uptrend. We've got an initial push. We've now got a higher low on the weekly. So assuming this candle closes strong, we would have a higher low on the weekly, but we still hopefully didn't miss too much of that then. Anyway, I was just, yeah, in this higher low here now, made a low, made a higher low, but we still need to start breaking some supply to feel like we're going to have a significant up move here, or a significant retracement of that drop. That's Bitcoin. Ether, had to restart my computer after the death of the internet. Ether's fallen down. It's close to where the entry I had was. It's one zone below was where I was looking, and then closer to the 61 fib. But you know, could get a bounce here. Like so, Ether I wanted to hold this zone, and it hasn't. Obviously, the difficulty with the Ether is it has this monthly demand and then this 3-week demand. So they're both weak, but again, while we're still in the range, it's hard. It's a hard judgment call. So if you look at the monthly, it's not a strong monthly. So this very possibly can go all the way back through it if it wants to. But again, it's not something I really want to be shorting in, just in case it does do the other direction. It's not very clear on the lower time frames. Like if it does drop, obviously we've got this giant candle which could get filled, so this thing could run all the way to the bottom. So again, just be very careful. Like I say, I don't want to do too much on this until I actually see whether we're going to hold these levels. Got ETH BTC coming into the 4-hour demand that I wanted, which is promising. And I mean, really basically what it boils down to is I can still go and see this going either way. Like I was looking back at it earlier, and the comparisons I've made, you know, back to 2017 and 2019, and the possible bounce on Ether BTC, or then the structure of Ether BTC potentially getting an up move, and that we're potentially just in this part of this drop here. It's obviously dropped a bit more now, but that we potentially could still get that out of it afterwards, which makes me still slightly nervous on shorts. And then also similarly, we've got another structure here where we had a sort of a descending triangle, push up to the top of it, a drop back through which appeared to break structure before that final meme push. And I say meme because I didn't like these little stairs going up at all at the time, but it did push obviously to a higher high, so it doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't trade it. But I still think that was a bit of a fake move and it should have come down here. But you can see it, you know, did do this drop before pushing up again. So again, this could still be doing the same thing. But then on the flip side, I was looking at this, thinking, well, I could also equally see that happening, then it goes straight through this demand. So I guess we just need to see what happens. This already, I think, said yesterday, has 4-day supply on it. So again, would be looking, I need to redo my levels based on new fibs and things like that, but still potentially looking for shorts in here because I still think that's a reasonable probability. But I might just, clean this up a bit because these were sort of scalp levels and we're moving away from the scalp range now, so I need to start thinking higher time frame, and that's assuming if we bounce here at all. So again, like I say, just be very careful. We've got a daily demand down here. I think I was more conservative, thinking because this one hadn't tested the lower daily demand, thinking that we could take out this first one into the second one. And then, so 61 fib of the immediate up move is coming up. And then we've got a 61 and 78 that kind of falls at the top of that breakout level here. So, there's various levels in here. And I just don't really want to guess at this point because there's too much going on. And if the price starts to wick down, then it could really wick significantly if it wants to. And so that 2-week level there would coincide quite nicely probably with this fib, 32.62, and maybe it's a little bit high. Anyway, we're just looking at the low time frame, so really you should just start looking at the low time frames, and that's really all you're doing at this point to see. You look for low time frame entries in high time frame zones. We are in a high time frame zone, but it's a massive zone, so hence why I don't want to make a distinct call. My other nerves on this is, and again I keep saying I'll do the majors and not getting around to doing them, but again, like I put a comment in the chat earlier that I don't think these are ready for a bounce. So link, space to weekly demand, and then they're difficult again because they all, we could see swing failures. You could see a swing failure on ADA there, you could see a swing failure on Matic here, but I can't call swing failures until I actually see what they do. We'll see them start to move, but looking at link, I would still like to see this fill into this weekly. BNB has hit, it's hit the 5-day, and then I had a 5-day/2-week alert here, but again, it makes me a little bit nervous that it's broken the trend line, which I also had an alert on, so I've had a little short alert kind of coming in at the same time as a long alert. It's got that swing failure of the high up there, so I'd hope for a bounce on this, but what I'd probably be looking for is a rejection to then come and take out the trend line, but it could just drop and take out the trend line now. Similarly, ADA, I would like to see test this 3-month level here. 3 month being a big level, could go a lot deeper inside it. So again, just care on all of these. We're at the point that it's sort of really a kind of guessing game as to what's going to hold. You seem to have a lot of trend lines on this Matic chart for some reason. Not sure why those are still there. If they've just come back. So again, Matic, we had a 6-month demand, but it was weak, and so like I say, I want to do a video like on these and look at these properly with all the structures, because again, it's difficult. You've got a 6-month demand, but it's really not seeing much of a bounce, and it only put in a lower high. So there is still a very real possibility that these things can drop down to the next demands down here. So that's those three. Same applies to dot, atom, near, and sol. Sol, I think, did hit my next alert. Okay, yeah, so sol is sort of one of the few that actually has hit a demand that I was interested in. So we've got this here. But again, and I sort of made this comment and I talked in my video yesterday, we were doing these sort of ABC waves, and they may or may not be a triangle. We're looking, so we've got an A, B, C correction. It could triangle here and get the next move up, or it could be a zigzag and we could run all the way down to here. So that's the challenge at this point, and the demands really aren't clear. Near had previously hit a level that I was interested in and got a decent bounce off there, but only straight up to supply, and again, now I just lose. Christ. Don't know if I just lost my feed again there. I'm not sure what point I lost the feed there, but yeah, so the old majors, I was just saying again, we've had a monthly demand on EOS, it's barely given any bounce at all, expecting this to go lower, and overarchingly the structures of these are still down, like the major structures. So if we look at EOS, which is probably obviously one of the more bearish ones, yes, we had a decent 6-month up move, but we're still in this 3-month supply. So I still expect this to take out the lows. Back again, and again, I lost stream, so I have no idea what I missed, what you missed and what you didn't. Apologies today, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I'm going to finish up now because this is driving me crazy. The TLDR version is, I don't think it's ready. I do see bigger drops coming, at least on the alts, and therefore that probably means on Bitcoin as well. If I see something otherwise, I'll post accordingly. Yeah, it's unclear where demand is on a lot of these things because of the wicks, but at this point I probably expect us to be taking out lows, as you can see on EOS, and Litecoin and Ripple. Ripple I still want down by that monthly demand. I still have entries on Ripple. I don't know why I did Ripple, I don't know, I just kind of thought about it and then I put them in and then it annoyed me it didn't get hit on this wick. So I've got entries though from 25 to 40, so I'm inevitably going to get filled just on spot. And hopefully it doesn't completely run through it now I've done that, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, like I say, I do see these going lower. And therefore just be really, really wary of what you do on Bitcoin at this point, because the majors still have room to move down and we don't have the market confidence I want yet. Anyway, I hope for what you saw of that stream that was okay, I'll just try and post later if I see something on the lower time frames that is useful, but at the moment I'm not seeing the buying coming in. And as I said yesterday, I'll be highly amused just to see that the ETFs have bought the top if that's the case. So Bitcoin just looking for that close back up in this weekly to show it's a swing failure. And that's really the critical thing at the moment, and it must hold this daily demand. If it doesn't hold this daily, it's basically screwed. Anyway, so I hope that was of some use, and now my mouse has died. I will come back another time, hopefully with less technical issues. Have a good one.